Hey guys, so let me tell you about 4 fragrances that I consider to be underrated hidden gems. Now, that term, hidden gem is used a lot, but I think for me, it's reserved for a couple situations. Either the fragrance is an insanely good value, so we're talking the quality of the smell, against the price, right? And you're getting a lot for your money. But I want to emphasize it's not really all about money. I really, no matter how cheap a fragrance is, if it doesn't smell good, then I would never buy it, right? So the fragrance has to at least smell as good as what you would pay a high price for, but it happens to be at a lower price for whatever reason. A second reason is a smell that is very unique, right? So, something is really a gem if you can't find that kind of smell, that kind of profile anywhere else, or it's just simply too expensive in the niche realm, right? So, that's another reason, I might consider something a hidden gem. The third reason, obviously, it might not be easy to find, or people just don't know of it as much. It's not as popular because it's not talked about as much. So those times when you really discover something, right? That's really a hidden gem. And the last reason, obviously, that something's underrated, right? It's underappreciated. So it's just not talked about as much as it should, despite people knowing about it. And that could be due to the fragrance being a little bit older, or other fragrances really kind of taking over its place, right? So we'll talk about some of those. All right, so let's get to it. The first fragrance I'm gonna introduce is Burberry Touch. Now this one, great bottle, by the way. This is just so good. It does get mentioned a lot by some reviewers who happen to like the fragrance, but I think that it's definitely underappreciated. I think it's something that should be on everyone's shelves, but maybe because it's it doesn't have that kind of luxury status like a Chanel fragrance might. It just might not be as popular, but I think it's as good, if not better, than a lot of other designer fragrances. I'm gonna give it a spray right now. So this is I think this hits a lot of points. It's very unique. To me, it is unique. It has a really good balance of both. It's very fresh. It's very like laundry-like fresh laundry. That's not like a detergent. I think that something like Cool Water is a bit more harsh and detergent-like, whereas this one is softer. It's powderier. It's a little bit spicy, just spicy enough to make it masculine. And yet it's such a clean fragrance. It's like, for me, it feels like a second skin, right? Like a good second skin. And it sits relatively close to the skin, and it has a pretty good, lasting power. I'd say like, 6-7 hours. But it's not gonna be like a super potent projecting fragrance, which in this case might be a good thing. If you're looking for something that's easy to wear, that's not gonna offend anybody, I think this is a great one. Great everyday scent, and given its relative uniqueness, I would say it's a good signature scent as well. And the price also is great on this one. I think this one, I might have gotten for around $30. That's what these usually go for, the full 100 ml size. So again, just the perfect, one fragrance, in my opinion. The next one I got for you is L'Instant de Guerlain, and this is the and this is the Eau de Toilette version. I recently got into these Guerlain fragrances that come in this form, these bottles, right? This, and there's Habit Rouge. I found that all of them are just really good in terms of quality, in terms of price at discounters, and also in terms of uniqueness and just the uniqueness of the smell, right? So this one, let me give it another spray. This one, I would say, also hits a lot of points. It's a very unique fragrance. It reminds me a little bit of like Dior Intense. And so if you like that sort of a bit, how should I say, a bit chocolatey kind of fragrance, you know, you will like this one. But this one is easier to wear in my opinion. It's fresher. It's not as heavy. It does, you know, it doesn't have that iris as a center note. So it's different, right? Yeah. So opening is very fresh. It's got lemon, but in the background just is this kind of earthiness and chocolate like cacao note, right? That makes it, you know, not like a freshie, right? Not like, you know, it's got citrus, but it's not your typical citrus scent. It's a bit, you know, there's some density to it. And I think that, you know, just this contrast of the fresh opening with the cacao in the background makes this one, you know, wearable in all seasons. You know, the only thing about this one is it's not as strong as I'd like it to be. Maybe if you opt for the eau de parfum, it might be better, or the older Liege bottles. Excuse me. But I wish the smell is so good that if it projected more, if it was like a more powerful fragrance that just made a stronger statement, I think that it would be an even better signature scent. My preference actually, you know, for an everyday scent is actually Guerlain Vetiver. So if you want something that's a bit brighter, even more versatile, just because of how fresh it is, I would say go for Guerlain Vetiver. Oof, yeah, this one is more masculine because of the vetiver and tobacco. It's also, yeah, sorry for my puppy who's chasing my cat, but oh man, this one is like the definition of a gentleman, like a, you know, a classy gentleman in a suit. And I heard from one of the reviewers, you know, like this used to be the signature scent of JFK, and I totally, if that's true, you know, it totally matches, right? That sort of vibe, right? Okay, so next one, Prada Amber Pour Homme. This one I'm gonna be mentioning a lot. I've mentioned a lot. This one is truly underrated. You know, people know of it, but it's a 2006 release, and it's overshadowed by all the whole Luna Rossa line, right? The latest Luna Rossa came out in 2018. There's so many of them, but this is the OG. This is you know, the first man's fragrance for from Prada by Daniela Andre. And this one to me has a much stronger character than any of the Luna Rossa fragrances. So it's just, it knows exactly what it wants to be. It's just a soap fragrance, a luxurious soap fragrance that's like, you know, masculine. It's got this balance of, it's like fougere like because of you know, some lavender and other sort of spices going on there. And it's strong, like I always say, you know, I could smell this one from the nozzle so easily, and it tells you how much it's going to project when you wear it. Probably only need like 3 sprays to create a bubble. And it also has an amber base that's not so heavy, and so, but yet gives it some depth, and you can wear it really in the winter. It, you know, it really has this kind of powdery kind of weight to it that makes it work really well in the winter, but I think it's fresh enough for all seasons. And the soap vibe is so clean that, you know, in the summer it really, you know, this, even except in the really, really high heat, you know, I think that it would work even in the summer. Okay, next one I've got another well-known but in my opinion underappreciated, and it's Dunhill Icon. Underappreciated in the sense that I think people know how good it is, but for some reason they don't put it on their shelves as much, right? And this one, the reason it's so good, you know, it is super unique in my opinion. Great sprayer, great bottle, the heaviest bottle there is, designer or niche. And wow, it's basically, you know, if you like vetiver, you'll love this because it's not a vetiver dominant fragrance in the sense that, you know, like Terre d'Hermès is a bit earthier, right? It's a bit dirtier. balanced by the citrus. But this one, it's got something that makes it a little bit sweeter, more sparkling, and overall I would say the smell of this is actually better, and it just smells of quality. But you know, the problem is that you can't tell, you know, it's not so natural because, you know, that amazing smell doesn't last so long. Amazing smell doesn't last so long. If it did, I think it would be sort of top 5 all-time, you know, designer fragrances. I do have one more, but let me grab it. Alright, so this last one, guys, is Hanamura HM. And the reason I included this one is, you know, it's not a house that people talk about a lot. It's not, you know, we're fragrance enthusiasts, so we have come across this and we like it, but your average person is not going to know Hanamura, right? And this is like an older fragrance from the 90s, but it smells so timeless. I think it's, you know, it's considered like a fresh gourmand, which is interesting. You know, it's definitely sweet, and it's got this lemon that's you know, dessert-like, right? That's sweet, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot of florals in this that really, you know, make it not like a gourmand, and also like a freshness even from the start to the finish. That I think this is a good like everyday scent. And not only is it, you know, not so well known, but I think that it's unique. You know, try to find something that smells quite like this, right? This has its own character, right? I'm not saying this is gonna be like the fragrance you wear the most, but you might reach for it because of, you know, what it gives you, this unique character when you feel like you want something like this. And the price also on this is crazy, right? This one, I think you can get these for like $12, $15. This is a smaller bottle, which I think was like $12, which is crazy to me, right? And you know, just because a fragrance is cheap, don't let that turn you away, because it's not cheap because it's lower quality necessarily. In fact, a lot of these smell to me better than the Chanel's, or I at least like them a lot more than Chanel's. And the Chanel's not like, you know, supernatural smelling fragrance either, right? But it just so happens that these get discounted very easily, or when they're older, the price just drops dramatically, right? You know, things like Burberry, Guerlain, you know, $40. This one's also $40. Dunhill Icon, $40 for the full bottle. Hanamura Insane, right? And Prada Amber Porum, $40, right? So you could see this is not really a cheapy list. It's sort of in the mid-average range, right? $40. But for what you get, the brand, the smell, you know, the uniqueness of the smell, and you know, things that can work as your signature, right? Because other people are not going to be wearing it all the time, like Creed Aventus, I don't know, Bleu de Chanel, whatever, right? La Nuit de l'Homme. So this is gonna, to me, those fragrances get boring after a while. These are a little bit more interesting, and you know, if you also are looking to expand your collection, these sort of cheap, unique fragrances are from good brands, a really good way to go. All right, so you know, these are some underrated fragrances in my opinion. Please give me suggestions, because I'm always looking to add things, and I discover new fragrances through YouTube. So please, I would appreciate any suggestions you guys have. See you guys next time.